From the edge of the Great Red Divide, from the little blue island in the middle of America, this is the Heartland Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Henry. Let's talk about day 17 in the reign of Orange Caligula, because that's what day it is. It's another day of chaos and dysfunction in the USA. True to form, President Trump relies on social media to mislead and confuse the people of America. We became wary of this last time. The governance of the country and the world, relations via tweet, and then those odd pressers. I mean, we endured Sean Spicer and his daily rueful delivery of blatant lies last time. Now we have Caroline Leavitt. I feel like I'm talking to my dog. Leave it. And her mighty big cross, the cross of the alt-right, delivering lies and threats from the pulpit every day. It's so bad that most people, even those that voted for him twice, that voted for Orange Caligula twice, are simply tuning out, afraid to see with their own eyes the crapola they elected. But tuning out is unwise. You must know what President Trump, is doing at all times. Caroline is merely a puppet of the regime, delivering her daily shit on a shingle for the guy who hasn't missed a golf game in 16 days. Elon has control of our treasury and all of our money. He is unelected, unappointed. He's a foreign-born person that has no security clearance, and he's taken a group of young adults into the most sensitive and significant place in our country. They have downloaded our personal information for purposes unknown to us. It is now 100% unsecured, and they are in the process of rewriting the code of our federal government computer systems. This includes veterans benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, foreign aid, and more. There are indications that Elon intends to pass judgment on each of us regarding his perceived notion of our needs. He will cut them off at a whim, those he feels are not worthy under the guise of cutting government waste. Elon has decided that it's now up to him. As the supreme ruler, he gets to decide who gets what at his pleasure. He is destroying our government in the same manner he destroyed Twitter, with the same glee. Doge is not a real office. It is up to Congress to decide on new offices, and Trump has bypassed our laws and given him permission to do as he pleases. That is so Trump can spend his time developing Gaza for the very wealthy. You know, I've noticed in my community that Trump and MAGA flags are coming down at a rapid rate, but the realization is finally washing over them that having achieved everything they ever wanted, their chosen Lord and Master is not interested in them, the average Joe worker, the poor, the disillusioned. God help his supporters that are depending on welfare of any sort. They will have to go to work or starve very soon, as they are a drain on the 47th Reich. Even if they are disabled, veterans, even if they are poor, even if they are unable to work for whatever reason, even if they are elderly, Emperor Musk is planning to cut them off and cull them from the herd. California is still experiencing a farm labor shortage, and the farmers have taken to asking local law enforcement to tell the farm workers that they will be safe if they do come to work. And indeed, they are not safe. Most rural local law enforcement has committed to working with ICE, making these pleas from the employers sound hollow to the ears of the workers. They know that they and their families are in danger from these jackbooted thugs. The kids still need to eat and still need to go to school, but migrant children are not showing up for school across this country. These kids are being stolen from schools, bus stops, even some taken from their homes by force with their own parents. By our counts, between 1,400 and 2,000 children, most of them female, are unaccounted for from Trump's last reign, from his last reign of terror, of border separation, family separation at the border. We don't know where those kids went. We haven't recovered up to 2,000 of them, and the counts aren't even accurate. So what's going to happen to these new kids as they become wards of the state? Will they simply disappear as well and become one of the nameless many that are gone? We don't know. I do know that about 20 years from now, buckle up. We're going to have a whole bunch of lawsuits. As soon as these kids turn 18, they're going to be coming for us. Why did you allow this to happen? So, opening Guantanamo Bay for a deportation camp and making plans with the despots of Guatemala to imprison people here in the U.S. illegally, even if they are not from Guatemala. This is cruel and unusual punishment and violates all standards of humane treatment under the law of the USA and of the world. The level of violence due to overcrowding in Guatemala prisons, along with this insufficient food and housing, is horrific. A horrific thing to do to another human being. Violating their human rights because of abject cruelty is the MAGA way, and it is insane. Where are the people of the USA? Why would we tolerate this level of brutality? Do we hate our neighbors so viciously that we will do them harm simply because we can? Have we all been painted with the same Stephen Miller silver shirt brush? Stand up! Stand up! Stand up, USA! Do something now! This is not us. Yet it is. Through history, from the genocide of the indigenous peoples here in the first place on this stolen land, to enslavement of people from Africa, so many wars without cause. We use those wars to set our time by. We create messes in the world politic to serve our own ends, and then walk away and blame it on others for the disaster. So this tracks. Family separation, mass deportation to foreign lands, abject cruelty to not white people. It tracks, and it is us, the USA. I am devastated that we, the American people, the people who condemn such actions in other parts of the world, are so filled with bloodlust that we continue to perpetuate these crimes against humanity. And worse yet, there are so many people that walk among us that are just as guilty because they will not do anything. They do nothing. They wring their hands, perhaps complain on social media, but they will not so much as pick up the phone and call their member of Congress. They are terrified of their own shadow. So they just ruminate over these actions quietly, and therefore compliantly doing nothing is just as bad. You have the ability. You have the ability to make change. But do you have the spine for it? Now is the time to find your spine and make those calls and send those emails and stop complaining on social media. Your electeds are not held accountable by your posts on Facebook. They are held accountable by every email you send, every call you make, every postcard you send, every message you send, anything in writing. There has to be a trail. Any phone call you make, there is a trail. And that trail holds them accountable. What you say on Facebook, those little memes, they do not count. They do not count because it doesn't mean they actually saw them or heard about them. You have to call. You have to email. You have to write. You have to message. You have to do it yourself. I've heard more whining in the last few days than I have heard in my entire life, and I'm sick of it. Stop it. Do something now. It's your obligation as an American citizen to do something now. Your voice, your opinion only counts when you deliver it to their ears. So do that. I have heard so much whining, so much spineless, worthless, rolling in stupidity and inaction and not doing a goddamn thing when you should. You need to make some calls, and you need to do it right now. Right now, this moment, you can call your members of Congress and tell them to stop Elon and stop mass deportation and stop Trump. Maybe it has not hurt you yet, but it is meant to hurt you and terrify you, and one day it's going to be your turn. The congressional switchboard number for the House and Senate, I'm going to give you this, so get ready and write this down or mark this page so that you can come back to it. It's 202-224-3121. You have 3 calls to make right now. 202-224-3121. It will take a few minutes of your time. No one will be mean to you. These people work for you. Remember, you pay their salaries, so do it. Find a spine and do it. Call both of your state senators. Call your member of the House of Representatives, and do it now. Our country is at stake here. We are in the midst of a financial coup from Elon Musk, a hostile takeover, if you will. and you do nothing, well, shame on you. Get your ass in gear. From the edge of the Great Red Divide, from the tiny blue island in the middle of America where I've made my calls today, I've sent my emails today. You need to do it too. This has been the Heartland Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Henry. Get going. You have work to do today.